My husband is Robert Levinson. He went on a business trip to Kish Island, which is part of Iran, and it was supposed to be a 24-hour trip, and he never left there. Unfortunately, that was March 9th, 2007, and we have never heard anything about his whereabouts since then. His passport has not been seen. We have not received any recent information about him, although I do believe he is safe and will come home to us soon.
Dan, the picture that we're seeing of your father, we believe, right? What are the circumstances of this photo? What's the best guess as to why he's in Iran? What can you tell us?
I'm assuming that you're showing the orange jumpsuit.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, we
to
are.
Us in April 2011, and we were emailed those photos. There are 5 of them, and he's holding messages, which we're still trying to understand the actual meaning behind the messages. And he looks very different from when we last saw him. He is visibly thinner. He has an unkempt beard, long hair. And it does worry us, but at the same time, we were happy to see that he's alive and relatively well, and being treated relatively well. But it's concerning to us because we haven't heard anything since those last photos.
Oh, no, of course it is. Of course, I mean, this has got to be a panic for you every day, and that's why we were trying to help, because it's a little confusing. Let me just ask one more question, and then we'll get into the obvious about what needs to be done now. Is there any reason to believe he's somewhere else? Is there any good explanation that the State Department or any authority or agency in the United States government could offer for why he may be somewhere else? Because there was a recent report that I think it was Ahmadinejad or an Iranian official had somewhat alluded to the fact that your father was there. Is that accurate?
He was last seen in Iran on Kish Island. That's the only information we have about his travels. As I said earlier, his passport has never been seen anywhere else. But 6.5 years have passed, and we don't know exactly where he is at this moment in time.
When you go to the State Department, when you ask the government for help, what do they tell you?
They are working as hard as they can to get him home. Unfortunately, he disappeared in the country of Iran, and it is very hard to get anything done there. We need the officials in Iran to help us and make sure that Bob is safe and get him home to us.
And that's where the frustration comes in, certainly, Dan, for you, where right now we're negotiating with Iran. Right now we're discussing what should be on the table in terms of establishing trust. There has been some news reporting given to Pastor Abedini, who has been held there supposedly for his practice of Christianity. Your father wasn't really on the radar. Did you make efforts to them? Do you think he should be part of this negotiation?
Well, we've been told, and the U.S. officials have been saying in recent days, that he's brought up in every opportunity to have on the sidelines of these negotiations, and they're going to continue to press his case, and we have no doubt that the U.S. government is doing everything they can. Something I'd like to note that was very important for us was during that phone call 2 months ago between President Obama and President Rouhani, which was the first direct contact between the leaders of our two countries in 34 years. President Obama did bring up my dad's case, and we think that was very big for us, and it shows how important it is to the U.S. government, and we're very grateful for President Obama bringing that up, and we're just hoping that President Rouhani and his administration can follow up on that request.
Yes, and thank you for correcting me, because I said Ahmadinejad. It's Rouhani. It's the newly elected leader there, and it was President Obama, and there was an allusion made, and my understanding from the reporting is that Rouhani didn't say, who are you talking about, or no, he's not here, and obviously that gives some credence to the suggestion that he is. Is that your take as well?
Well, we don't know what he actually said back or what was discussed. All we know was that he was brought up, and President Obama noted the importance of bringing him home. There are other reports from when Ahmadinejad was interviewed years previous. But we're focused on the new administration, and they seem very willing to cooperate with the U.S. on a number of issues, and we're just hoping our dad's return home to us is one of those.
4th year, you can't or you don't want, is what I believe the sign says that was hung around your father there. You said you've been struggling to make sense of that. I'm sure you're trying to make sense of all of this, Christine. It's such an unnatural circumstance to be in. Let the people watching the show know who is missing right now? Who is this man? Who is he to you? What does he represent to your family?
Bob is a wonderful man. He is my whole life. We will be married for 40 years on our next anniversary. We have 7 children. We were living the American dream. We had a happy family, and Bob had business. He was running his own business and doing well, and then this happened and our whole world fell apart. We now miss him at every occasion. Since he disappeared, there have been numerous graduations. 2 daughters have gotten married. We have a new grandson who was born just a month ago. Another grandson will be born in February. We have a granddaughter who is going to be 5 years old in December, and Bob knows nothing about any of these children. It's extremely difficult for our family because this is something that can be resolved.
Yes.
The people who have Bob need to send him home to his family. 6.5 years is far too long.
And this man, your husband, did work in the FBI, but this wasn't an FBI caper gone wrong. This was a business trip, just to make that clear. Is that correct, Ann?
Correct. Bob retired from the FBI in 1998.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you both. I'm sorry to have to meet you this way and have this discussion, especially so close to the holidays, but you have to keep hope alive for this. We'll keep this story in discussion,
definitely.
Especially while negotiations are ongoing and they're trying to establish trust between the countries. Certainly this should be on the agenda. Let us know how we can help keep this story going.
Thank you. Thanks for keeping the word out.
Appreciate this.